Hi and welcome here today. I am Angelica. I train and teach reward-based riding, and today's topic is all about teaching rein aids without relying on pressure, like we mostly do in traditional training. And here I'm gonna get the help of my boy Tiny here on the picture next to me, and we're gonna use mats. We're gonna use door mats actually to help build some rein aids. So, what do we need before we can start? Well, we do need a horse that understands that standing on one mat is a good thing and can stand on one mat over a period of time. Park on a mat, that's usually the behavior I start with. That's one of my foundation behaviors. We need that to have a solid start. And the horse that can relax on the mat and stuff like that, that's great. And yeah, I do have a video on me teaching also Tiny the walk on and the halt cue via single mats in a row. Okay, sorry. And you can watch that there maybe. So here we have two mats. I always start this from the ground, and you already see here that this first aid to build the rein aid looks very different if we look at traditional training when we shape with escalating pressure. When we start with the rein and we end with the rein, the cue looks the same. It's the amount of pressure often that changes. Here we start with mats. In this example we can for sure build this differently too, but here we start with mats. Once the mat moving between the two mats are solid, they are by now in this video, I add the hand cue. The hand cue is also solid in this video, and I've already taught him to respond to rein aids a little bit from the ground. But let's start this video giving him a treat, switching side. Hand cue that I was talking about. Hey, can you switch mat? Yes, I can. Thank you. And here, can you switch mat? Hand cue on the shoulder too. Both those cues are taught via the mat as the first cue. But you see already here, in comparison to traditional training, that, I guess most of us are familiar with. Already here, two different cues, building up to the rein aid before using the rein aid. So I can't just like expect Tiny to understand that now we have reins. Now it works like this. So I'm trying to really stay true to the shaping process that I try to build here, and to really use the context of the mat until this feels reliant on the cue that I finally want, which is the rein aid. And I get this can feel like a little bit like, why even bother, you know? If you have rein aids already and you do a little bit of reward-based training, why can't you just keep your old cue? And you can, for sure, and that can work really, really well. But what it doesn't give you is a backtracking system for when things are not working, and that's gonna come from all of us. I mean, to not relying on turning up the volume when horse does not respond to the aids, like here, the light touch of the rein, the tactile rein touch, that's the cue that I in the end want him to go on. I teach it a little bit differently here for sure, but in the end I want that, and I don't want to, when he doesn't understand and we are not in the presence of the mat, I'm not gonna turn up the volume on there's no part where I'm gonna turn up the volume when he does not understand. I'm gonna go get, okay, sorry, maybe too early to leave the context of the mat. Let's go back there, or yeah, let's just go get one mat. Hey, do you remember? Can we do this? I can also use my hand cue that I am using on the previous video, and I'm gonna use that on this video here too. But what that gives me is that backtracking process, so I can avoid escalating pressure if I want to, and I do want to. That's why I think this is a useful process, apart from the horse being very, very active and a very active participant in the process of building this aid, which I love. That's why I train reward based. And apart from that, that also gives me clear explanation to look there. I'm doing it there again. He didn't fully respond to the light touch of the outside rein there to move to the next mat. So I added my left hand cue. We're gonna watch it again soon. I added my left hand to just like, hey, do you remember was this only this thing? So I already here have two different aids to explain the third aid. And yeah, this is you learned. I'm gonna do it now. Let's me stop talking. No response, just putting the arm out a little bit more so he sees it better, and just like, hey, there we go. There you get it. And for sure, this is an example of the teaching phase. I'm gonna go back to this rein aids with tiny and a bit more now when we have it solid and we work with it from a little bit more advanced perspective. But this is a way of teaching it without relying on pressure. And yeah, I'm gonna show more behaviors in this line, so stay tuned if that is of interest to you.